best friend.
I trust you. I know that you would take a bullet for me. I would for you as well.
What were you doing on the computer?
I photographed my girl.
I was doing the same thing. You want to see her?
You're on 3. 1, 2, 3. That's
Lauren Scott?
I feel weird about dating two guys at once.
You think Gloria Steinem got arrested and sat in a jail cell so you could act like a little bitch?
I think I'm going to hell.
Get out there. You get flexible.
Damn, no wonder it took so long to find Osama bin Laden. CIA ain't doing shit. Sit around the office like twirling guns and chasing after the same chicks.
The biggest threat against American democracy is Reese Witherspoon in a short skirt.
And a big ass head. No, I actually think she's
Big ass head.
I really do like Reese Witherspoon. I do think she's attractive. I think that the sake of sounding, a little feminine here, I think everybody in this movie is just really good looking.
Sure.
Yeah, and not only are they good looking, but these guys, they can act. I mean, Tom Hardy is one of my favorite actors out there right now.
Still, even after this?
Well, yeah, he's still, the Batman's around the horizon. He's got a chance to redeem himself.
The many problems that this film have, one of them is not that they cast bad actors in it.
True.
I mean, it's McG. He knows how to pick good people, generally speaking.
Yeah, he's got something that gets good people to sign on to his project.
Once he has them, he just doesn't know what the fuck to do with them.
Well, it seems like everything that comes out of his mouth is, I want to make a comedy spy movie. Okay, we want you to do the next Pride and Prejudice. Yeah, but I want to make it comedy with spies. Can we do it that way?
Romantic comedy with spies. I mean, this is the guy who did the Charlie's Angels. I believe both of them, didn't he?
Yeah.
Okay, both the Charlie's Angels films, which are to mixed response,
sure,
to be sure. And then the show Chuck, which I'm actually a fan of.
Yeah.
He's done a couple other things too, but I think Chuck
he
is
did the
important.
fourth Terminator, right?
Yeah. The fourth, which is, I'm sorry, Leon, I know you like it.
Jesus Christ. Okay, look, the fourth Terminator, it's a movie where if you don't like it, I'm gonna go, what?
I know people make me. You know what? I go to a Catholic priest every year and like confess my sins.
Right.
And part of that is forgive me for liking Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull, and forgive me for liking Terminator 4 Salvation. But Father, I've learned. I've denounced those films.
Sometimes they catch you the right way when you first see them, and then later on you look back, you go like, hell.
But I can tell you right now, the reason that McG got this job on This Means War is because of Chuck, which was has been back and forth in its success. But nonetheless, somebody said, here's a guy who knows how to tell a spy story that also has a female appeal to it.
Sure.
That has a equal attraction to woman, that can tell a romantic comedy type story inside of a action-packed spy story. And Chuck's a pretty fun show. It don't work here. I don't know what happened. I just assumed there's too many people standing over his shoulders now looking down. No, I think you should do this.
I'll tell you what happened. First of all, McG's iPod playlist happened. Every song that he likes from the 90s just weighs down this film. And then he just wanted to show us, hey, look how cool LA is, because that's the problem with this movie. It's just a bunch of segments of him playing songs that he remembers from the 90s, maybe a few scattered songs from the 80s and some from the 2000s, but mostly it's like a bunch of 90s stuff, office buildings that don't look like office buildings. They look like, I don't know, fancy IKEA store floors or something. All these nice homes that they go into, I mean, it's just not really anything connecting all these things together. It's just a movie. It's everything. I am mixed about Charlie's Angels. Like Charlie's Angels, I liked, but I didn't love. And Charlie's Angels 2, if I recall, I think I hated that movie.
The less said, the better about Charlie's Angels.
I think I really just hated that movie. And this movie is the things that I hate the most about Charlie's Angels.
I would say I like this less than Charlie's Angels, either one of them, easily.
Oh, yeah.
Because they do so much less with so much more. I mean, you've got so many good people in this movie, and like I said, you think McG would know how to do this, but the biggest problem here for me wasn't even the music, although you're totally right. It's just ridiculous, the degree to which they're just pumping in stuff for to sell the soundtrack. Yeah. And it's not even the fact that everything does look like you're wandering around in IKEA in it. It's all style.
Yeah.
But it's the fact that the thing feels like it's edited, like they just took the film reel, threw it up in the air, and then just started snipping with Edward Scissorhands in midair. It's insane how this thing is edited.
Yes. How many times they come to right to the punchline and then cut to something else. Yeah. And it's that feeling of like, was this supposed to go somewhere? I'm pretty sure there's a line that's not here now. Well, now I know with Chelsea Handler, they throw her in to tell raunchy jokes that don't really connect to anything. It's almost like they probably just had her for 2 days, just shot a bunch of stuff and spliced it in as it goes. And since
almost the opposite, actually, she was in it. They got a rated R rating, and they said make it PG-13, and so they just basically cut in half her scenes every time.
And Chelsea Handler is Reese Witherspoon's best friend in this movie, which is
that unnecessary best friend.
Yeah,
who's just there just to say something outrageous, and then you're off.
Well, she's there to make it into a chick flick, because otherwise it's not a chick flick. This is why this appeals to women, because half the film is her and her friend talking about, oh, I don't know what to do. There's these two guys. I like both of them. They're so cute. Aren't they cute? You know, and her friend to be the sassy best friend. I mean, I'm sure it was between her and Eric Stonestreet from Modern Family playing the sassy gay best friend.
Well, and the thing is, like, when you watch this, you got to see it. I want you to notice with those scenes with her talking to Chelsea Handler, Reese Witherspoon, Chelsea Handler, you could see how this movie could have been made without any of that.
Oh yeah,
and they came back later and said, like,
it's crowbarred in.
Yeah, it's almost like, okay, as a spy comedy, it's still kind of lame.
Well, you know what? I was rooting for this movie. I really was, because it's a concept that I want to see work. It's romantic comedy combined with an action flick. And so what they made was a romantic comedy action flick that they were going to release on Valentine's Day. And they're thinking, you know, we're geniuses, man. You know, we're going to get the guys to come in with their girls, the guys to get the action, the girls to get the romantic comedy. Everybody's going to be happy. The guy's going to get laid. He ain't going to be pissed. You know, it's going to work for everyone. And it really doesn't work that well, because it often neglects both the romantic comedy and the action film for some stupid shit in this movie.
It's a shame, because you're watching the action scenes that the way they're set up, you're like, this should be cool, but they have no idea how to film them or put them together. It's like they'll be editing, like you're hearing gunshots when no one's firing their gun, and you're like, where were those gunshots coming from? And like, it's just cut to pieces. And then the romantic comedy part, they make it where nobody is likable enough to give a shit of who ends up with who.
Yeah,
that is the thing. You really don't care who wins the girl or who she ends up with. It's like 6 of one, half a dozen of another.
Well, people probably saying, you know, what is this about winning the girl and all that kind of stuff? It's flimsy premise here. You have
Chris Pine and Tom Hardy.
You got two CIA agents, you know, top-ranking CIA agents.
Best friends.
They go out and they do everything together. You know, I mean, and you have FDR Foster played by Chris Pine, and then you have Tom Hardy who plays Tuck, which is appropriate because he's the bitch in relationship, so he tucks his dick every time he's around this guy. And you know, these guys are, as the expression goes, you know, thick as thieves, man. They say things to each other like, you know what, I love you, man, and I'll take a bullet for you. You know that if it came down to it. And
now, how is it that they're best friends, but they have the same grandmother?
Yeah,
one of the guys was so close to the family that he just called her.
Yeah, that's the problem, is that they do that, and so you go for like 30 minutes of the film going, oh, they're brothers, until the film slowly starts to show you that clearly they can't be brothers.
Yeah, no, they just known each other for so many years. Apparently, you know, went to CIA school together. I guess. I don't know.
They were in Langley running that course with Jodie Foster at the beginning of Silence of the Lambs.
And you feel like nothing can come between them until they both meet this girl, Lauren, in, you know, different circumstances. And they don't know that they're seeing the same girl until one day they see each other looking at this girl up on the computer, and they decide to say, like, all right, you know what? Yeah, you take her, no, you take her, no, you take her, no. Oh, you know what? Fuck you. May the best man win, and whoever is that guy is going to get to fuck her last, you know? Yeah. So,
well, it's one of those things where they're both like, you know what? They'll be fair. We're like brothers. So I tell you what, if we're both, you know, going to keep being like, no, you, then we'll both try and date her casually, and we'll just agree to be gentlemen and not get in each other's shit.
I'm going to bow out. You date her. Besides the fact, if I got in the picture, it wouldn't even be fair.
I'm sorry, what does that mean?
Come on, man, you're not out there as much as I am.
You don't have to bow out because of me.
So do your thing, whatever that is.
Just let her decide.
Sure.
Yeah. And while we're at it, why don't we put some ground rules in as well?
I think we should.
Number 1, I don't think we should tell her that we know each other.
Number 2, let's stay out of each other's way.
Number 3, no hanky-panky.
God, you have not dated in a long time, have you?
And if this ever starts to affect our friendship,
which it won't,
then we walk away.
Done.
So then we have
a gentleman's agreement.
A gentleman's agreement, we do.
May the best man win.
And you know that these are big, both alpha male guys, so that lasts like 5 minutes before they're spying on each other. And
they are international male guys because
they are with each other's dates.
They're committing embezzlement by diverting government funds and resources, millions of dollars worth, just to cock block each
Yeah,
other.
which the film repeatedly points out, but only with a "ha, isn't that cute?" And I kept going, why would you think right now in this economic climate that is cute?
Yeah, I mean, seriously, the Taliban laughing at these two. They're just like, shit. I think Reese Witherspoon was hired by the Taliban to come in and fuck with these guys.
Boy, what a great premise. That would have been such a great twist to this.
Oh,
thing.
at the end, if you actually saw like a big bearded guy with a turban on, like
That was the whole plan.
yeah, kaboom.
Yeah,
But-
even at one point they go, it's like, isn't this against like unconstitutional? He goes, Patriot Act.
that's one of the
That's
things-
funny. Oh shit.
Yeah, no, that's one of the things the movie does. They try to set it up at first where these guys are using all these resources. Now, I'm sorry I'm making my own movie, but I think my movie makes sense more than you have here. It would have been cool if you had two guys in sort of somewhat of a dark comedy where they tell their cronies or their underlings or whoever's working for them, hey, you know what? I'm on this top secret mission. You guys help me out here. These guys are like, wait a minute, what are you using this for? I can't tell you. And then slowly begins to unravel that these guys are using government resources to track this one girl. Neither one of them get it. They end up going to prison.
Oh, yeah.
That'll be the end of the movie. You know what? They're still best friends, but they learn a lesson. They go out to Guantanamo Bay wearing an orange jumpsuit, getting raped by some big ass guy, you know.
Or you could go dirty.
I think the ultimate lesson in your story is bros before hoes.
Yeah, right. Or you could go the dirty, rotten scoundrels path, now where they're both trying to hook up with the same girl, but turns out her best friend, who's better looking than Chelsea Handler is in this movie and my movie, are actual spies as well, and they're trying to get information out of these other guys or get them to go out and do something to, like, you know, the shit they're doing.
Yeah.
It's like makes it where they're vulnerable, and then in the end, they all end up going to like some sort of shared white collar prison and all hook up together.
But you see, the point is, you're right. No, that is good, man. Basically,
Okay,
Leon,
I do like your movie.
I know, Leon, would you like to share your script for this movie? Do you have one? Surely whatever is better than this.
I just came up with that off the top of my head. I'm sure you did too.
I did.
And those are both better than what the movie we saw.
Leon, you got 2 seconds.
Oh, well, in my movie, Reese Witherspoon is out, and even Tom Hardy. We just take Chris Pine and we make the live action version of Archer.
Okay.
Yeah, that is
Or,
definitely better.
Better yet, in my movie, these two guys just buck up and admit that they're gay. I mean, because at the end of the movie, they just stop fighting over this chick. Because I'm telling you, and I know I make this joke all the time. Why don't they just be gay? They're close to each other. They really are somewhat weirdly they have this strange bond that goes beyond just being best friends. First, you know,
It's uncomfortable that they don't make a gay joke almost, because you're like, no, come on, man. This is past two dudes who've been friends their whole life. This is, you guys clearly secretly want each other, and they should have just ended it that way.
that would have been. I mean, seriously, people, if you watch the movie, that would have been. This movie probably would have received some applause from people for that ending if they had just gone that route, because
in select audiences.
No, in every audience. goddamn.
I'm waiting for that to happen. Just
No.
one time. We say it all the time, but somebody, somewhere, a director has got to have the balls to just do it.
And gay, I know that one gay guys out there. You always make a joke about gay, but I'm not making a joke. I
This
think
isn't a joke,
No, this
yeah.
would have been cooler if they'd done that, because they do things in the movie like they say, you know what I see in you, Tuck. You know that the qualities in you. I would like to find that in a woman. I was like, you can, if you quit hanging out with this fucking dude over here. But they see the problem with what we're saying here. It would make sense if they were gay, because they do, for me, the cardinal sin that I see in movies where you're supposed to show people as best friends. They have to say this instead of just letting the relationship play out. You know, things like, I'll take a bullet for you. Oh, hey, the worst line I hate is when they have to say those words. You're my best friend. You know, yeah, I got that. You know,
right.
shit, yeah, I saw you two on the poster hugging each other. Yeah, shit. Why do I need to hear that? And
Well, you need to hear it because nothing else in the film after the 15-minute mark or so would let you think that these guys had any friendship for each other on any level. The willingness they have to fuck each other over to the point of murder over the tiniest things. I mean, really? Over like Reese Witherspoon? You couldn't. Reese Witherspoon's, yeah, she's really cute. No question. I give it to you. I think she's pretty hot still. But we're talking like these two guys who've been supposedly best friends their whole lives, willing to assassinate each other for a girl. You could have gotten somebody a little hot.
Well, it's the thing. I kept getting the feeling that I did when I watch Twilight movies, where I keep waiting for these two, matinee idols, guys who are almost basically prettier than the woman they're going after, to just look at each other and go, What are we doing?
Yeah, where's the
Oh,
scene
my
where Reese
God.
Witherspoon lifted her skirt and her vagina lit up like gold? You know what I
You're
mean?
right. This is James Bond cross with Twilight. I didn't even see that before, but it totally is. I'm Team Pine. I'm Team Hardy.
Look, either they are going for each other because these are two very metrosexual guys who are confessing their relationship for each other, in self denial because they don't want to admit that they love each other. Or these guys we need to believe that the girl that they're going for really is something special, and they never reveal why.
Oh my God,
why they are going after this one girl so hard.
She is so not anything special. Like from the trailers, I thought maybe she's some kind of spy also, but I mean,
But there's no
her
connection.
marketing job, and then
This bizarre, non-existent marketing job.
Yeah, some job that doesn't even exist in real life.
Yeah, what the fuck is that?
She's got no dating prospects. She's got a shitty best friend.
Yeah.
who
Oh, yeah.
just says the most
The
crass
worst
things to her.
advice.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry if your marketing job is marketing pans, cooking pans. I don't know nobody makes that much money marketing pans in like in a fucking lobby somewhere like
Are
she
you
does in
taking
this
a
movie.
flamethrower to pans to test their durability? Really, I'll quit what I'm doing right now if that's a real job and I can have it. I want that job.
Well, even you know what, their job in the CIA, even when they work a desk, it's at something that's like at Trump Tower or out of a villain's lair.
Well, yeah, it looks like the Men in Black place,
Yes, it
except
does,
with less
yeah.
Art Deco because they've got that huge screen right in the middle of
yeah,
it with
yeah.
pictures of all this top secret
You
shit
know how they
going
open
on.
up? You know the way they open up Iron Chef?
Yeah.
It's got those big aluminum sets. It's like that's what that looks like.
And I'm like, okay, if you guys work for ISIS or Spectre, then maybe. But you work for the CIA, a real government organization that doesn't pay all that well.
Yeah.
Your shit would not be like that.
No,
I mean,
it-
I realize that this isn't the kind of film that you can nitpick for reality, except just in for fun. But
Sure,
it's
but-
just not fun enough for me not to nitpick. on
yeah.
this
No,
stuff.
because people gonna say, "Man, you guys nitpicked this." Like, well,
Seriously, Men in Black is more realistic. than
yeah.
this
I mean,
movie.
when this is a movie that makes it too easy to just pick apart where it went wrong because there's so many things they could have got right with this. I mean, they really did have something in their hands. They had a good premise, not a whole
Not
story,
execution.
not execution, definitely not execution.
Could
They
have
had-
used some executions.
Yeah,
there were times when I liked Chris Pine's character.
well, they had three
I
great leads.
kept feeling
man.
like, you know what? I'd like to see him as a spy in some other movie, some other story than this one right here.
Yeah, they had three great, good-looking leads who were having fun with what they were doing. I mean, really, that I envy. Maybe I'm just angry because I wasn't on the set with them because you could tell that they didn't know what was happening. They just,
Yeah,
just
right.
come to the set and ad lib and improvise and have a good time with each other.
We'll cut it together in the room.
Yeah,
though.
yeah. I mean, that's where the
We'll
movie
fix it
really
in post.
feels to the point where what we said about what we mean by they neglect or what I mean by they neglect the romantic comedy and the action. We are, you can already tell what we mean by the romantic comedy. I mean, it's mostly very felt slapstick of these two guys trying to outdo each other. So you don't really get the romantic comedy that I think would appeal to a lot of your female audiences. And for those people looking for action, they have one story here where they're looking for a guy named Heinrich. Is that what's his name?
Heimlich maneuver. Yeah, it's
Henrik.
It's got a
Yeah.
very 80s action movie feel opening, and then it just kind of goes away for a long time.
You're right. It's like the 80s movies where the action seems like it's going to be serious amidst the comedy. It's going to be very violent.
Yeah.
And they dropped that story.
Oh, it means nothing.
Yeah.
It's such a tiny little, well, I guess we got to move this shit along
Right.
type of like plot element.
And you've seen the villain, Till Schweiger, who plays
yeah.
every European villain out there.
And he's a really respected actor too. He's huge right now in European films. I mean, he's a big guy. It's like, all right, here's this chance to move into American films with a big, impressive European villain role. Nope, sorry,
I know.
you've got barely any
you
screen
got
time.
Jackie Chan.
I know he comes here and one time he decides not to be a European villain. He's like, okay, I'm going to expand into comedy. What's the script? Oh, Valentine's Day. Okay.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, he wasn't a villain in that, but
So far, hey,
kinda
Till,
was.
get a different agent.
hey, in a hurry. At least a new American agent. But yeah, that guy's story comes in at the beginning. A mention in the middle, just a mention.
A
They don't-
mention.
Yeah, a mention. They go after maybe one crony, like some Russian guy, and then at the end they have a big car
Yeah,
chase with him. And
because
it's,
you
yeah.
have to have when the relationship situation comes to a crisis, as you know it's going to.
Yeah.
As all is revealed in the romantic comedy part. How do you fix that? Well, you have them get involved in a big action scene or in a chase, so everyone
Yeah.
forgets all about it.
Yeah. Angela Bassett comes in as a typical boss. You know,
The ball buster.
Yeah, the ball.
Yeah, she's
you,
Amanda
you
Waller.
idiots screwed up again. You're on lockdown. and then she has to come in and eventually get them out. Well, what are you guys waiting for? You want to go out back in the field? I'm like, yeah. You know. So it's man. I the only thing that I can say that's good about this movie, and I've been saying this over and over again, is Tom Hardy and Chris Pine and Reese Witherspoon. But they really are given nothing to do. There's so many terrible scenes, and they play. First of all, it's really brought down by MacG. Just I don't know why he finds these songs so good that he has to play them 4 or 5 times in a movie. But he plays Sabotage and Me So Horny
Over and over.
over and over.
At
in
least
this
maybe
movie.
it just felt that way. The film is the cinematic equivalent of sitting and listening to those two songs
'cause I didn't
over and
notice
over.
Sabotage, she played one scene, to give an example, where it's just wasted talent in this movie. There's one scene where I think it's Chris Pine or Tom. They're planning bugs or cameras or something around her studio or around her kitchen, and she's in the kitchen dancing, and you could tell she had no direction. She
Yeah.
was just told, just look cute and dance, and that scene ends very awkwardly with him leaving, and she's sitting up there just.
Well, the scene's awkward in the first place because they're running around her kitchen while she's in it, planning bugs and cameras when it's like, I'm sure there's a time she's not at home.
Yeah, right.
Wow, how long y'all been working for the CIA?
There's absolutely no sense to it. And the film is, and yeah, that song is just pumped into your head. And you're like,
Yeah.
I like to think, this is me personally, but I like to think Reese Witherspoon never dances around our house singing Me So Horny.
Yeah.
I don't know
Or
why,
Sabotage,
but
or
that
either
seems weird. I mean, there's other actresses, sure, but Reese, it just doesn't sound
Yeah,
like
that was
her.
one where I was like, you guys really want to fight over a girl that has no peripheral vision?
Yeah.
Like, whoever
Yeah.
wins, you're going to be walking with her on a date. She's going to get hit by a truck.
Yeah,
'cause she didn't see it come up
you might as
right
well-
on the side of her.
Yeah, you might as well date Mr. Magoo.
They're hoping that the audience members have the same sort of vision problems, at least as far as realizing that every scene in this film is implausible and ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
They all don't make sense over and over again. You're like, but why would that happen? But you just did that. I mean, you'll constantly be ready to scream at the screen.
Well, it's kind of screwball for a while. Granted, it doesn't work, but at least it's keeping within a certain tone. And then they delve off into just embarrassing slapstick. The scene where Chris Pine goes to the pound because these guys are they spy on Reese Witherspoon, and she says, "Oh, this guy, I would like him more. I like his personality this way, but I wish he was more sensitive." So Chris Pine says, "I'm going to take her to a pound and show her how sensitive I am to animals." And there's a scene where he opens the cage, and you hear the sound effect of, and the dog jumps out the cage, and then they cut. And it's Chris Pine fighting a wig.
Yeah,
It's like-
totally.
And it's first of all, we bad enough even if it was a real dog, but the fact that he's using a bad prop and bad sound effects, they just messed that attempt to go into really crazy physical comedy all up. They
It is
messed
one of
it
those
up badly.
points where you go like, wow, so are you guys not taking it seriously at all?
Yeah.
Not even slightly. Even like a screwball comedy has to be taken seriously in the making of it. You can't just be sloppy and throw whatever you want at the screen, not wrap up jokes that you start. There's one thing where like he ends up getting another dog, like an old dog.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, there's going to be an inevitable scene where he's like farting when they're
Right.
trying to kiss or something. But no, he's just there in the background making sounds every once in a while. You're like, what is the point of that? Why did you even take that whole route there? I
Tell
don't
you the point, that
understand.
dog was watching the same movie.
Yeah, I know. That's how I felt.
Yeah.
At,
Hey,
one point,
MacG.
at one point, I deeply sighed and I looked over at Leon and went, sorry. I really couldn't help it that time. I try not to do that anymore during the screenings, but that one was autonomic.
Well, it is the thing where, if I was somebody who really wanted to see this, I would listen to us and go like, man, you guys really are just nitpicking. You just went in not wanting to like this movie. And I would
Quite
say
the opposite.
Yeah, quite the opposite. Really wanted to like. I mean, we want to like every movie, but this one looked like, you know what? It looks like it has promise, and I would love for it to play out like it should. And yet, over and over, it just did all the things that are irritating. It wasn't consistent. There wasn't the follow through. Most of the jokes, most fall completely flat.
Yeah.
And even the characters, it's like they couldn't stay true to most of the characters, other than Tom Hardy just always being, like you said, the bitch in the whole thing.
Yeah.
And it was almost more like Chris Pine's character is almost like, look, I'm going to steal this girl from you for your own good because you don't know what you're doing.
Let me ask you something. Did you think that they were slightly miscast?
How so?
Because I kind of feel like, Chris Pine is the ladies' man, and Tom Hardy's a sensitive guy. I like both of them as actors in the movie, but as characters, I felt like Tom Hardy was showing so many tattoos, and he was the one that had all the nice clothes and everything. I felt like maybe he should have been the ladies' man, and Chris Pine, he just looked more conservative because he didn't have that appearance. He should have been.
I
more
wouldn't have
here's the
cast
thing.
Tom Hardy at all. Actually, I would have cast somebody else
Yeah,
who was probably more comedy oriented than he is.
Anybody else.
Yeah.
And like Tom Hardy, I've seen him in stuff where I go like, hey, you know what? It's not a bad looking guy. But not so much next to Chris Pine. I mean, next to Chris Pine, you're like, oh wow, he's good looking for a British dude. But Chris Pine is beautiful.
You know, I'm going to back out from this conversation because I do have some arguments, but this is going to go into a whole other territory.
If you put Ryan Gosling in there.
Channing Tatum, girl, shit, that'd be a full Brad movie. But
I'd go out neck with him all night.
you know, it's funny. You were reading all.
Neck with him.
I can't.
He's got the neck to spare.
No, you mentioned, and I was reading this. You mentioned, Cyrus, how some people turn this down. Some people that maybe could have brought something more to this, but not much because the story itself is bad. But like
Sam Worthington was one of the people.
he was supposed to be Tom Hardy's character at one time.
Oh, that's okay.
And Seth Rogen was supposed to be Chris Pine.
Yeah, and there were a number of people who were cast as. Bradley Cooper was one of the main people who was attached, and he turned it down as well. So I don't know. I mean, I don't think the casting was the problem. I really don't. It's everything else.
As a matter of fact, I felt like it was overcast. Like they got higher caliber people than what they needed for everything else was such at a low level.
Yeah.
It stands out that like, wow, you managed to get good people and make them look bad.
Yeah.
Everything else was just adolescent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It was. I mean, really, I'm surprised. I mean, say what you will about Terminator Salvation. I mean, I thought that it was at least a different direction for MacG.
Sure.
Something that actually reined him in a little bit more. This movie, look, it looks good. And had it been a better movie, all this stuff that people are going to say we're nitpicking about could have been easily overlooked.
But
True
all the
movies
big
all
stuff
the time.
all the big stuff is wrong too.
Yeah.
The nitpick is just because it's fun to nitpick at this point.
Well-
but all the big stuff is wrong.
I can overlook. I mean, I know when I'm watching a movie, I can overlook a lot of things that are just, fantasy in a film. And this,
Sure.
trust me, there's a lot of that in this movie. Right, I could have easily overlooked it had the movie been fun. I mean, shit, I'm the one that came out of Tower Heist saying, "Yeah, this is a dumb movie, but you know what? It made me laugh at the whole thing." This did not. This movie is one big hot mess. This is bullshit if I've ever seen it. Some old bullshit if I've ever seen it.
And it's
pretty
funny.
bullshit, but it's some old bullshit.
It has a really decent trailer, I think, and that's partially because
Yeah.
one of the jokes in the trailer is pretty goddamn funny, and it's funny again when you see it in the movie. There's one other joke in the film that I thought was pretty funny that I laughed out loud watching, and both those jokes involve Tom Hardy and Chris Pine fucking with each other, during the dates. Okay, that's cute, but we're talking like a total of 30 seconds of the running time of this entire film that's worth watching. The whole rest of it, you're right, it is a hot mess. That there's a lot of hot people, but it's still a complete fucking mess. This is some old bullshit.
Yeah, the spy versus spy elements had the most appeal. The things that seem like, okay, this could work if you kept this going and really knew what you were doing. But the romantic comedy elements fall completely flat. I mean, the fact that you have all this happening for a girl who they just don't make the least bit special. It's just hard to wrap your mind around why would these guys do this? I mean, I'm not even saying she's terrible. She's just very run of the mill. It's like, look, it ain't like you can't turn a corner and find somebody just like her, if not better.
It's like you guys are both better looking than she is. So.
Yeah, you go like you can do better.
Yeah, so you might as well just go ahead and fuck each other right now.
Yeah, so
You really do want to see that movie, don't you?
Yes, I do.
I mean, and I can
Those
understand
I quickly
it.
answered that. Sorry, go ahead.
Brokeback Spy Control.
And I could understand it from the level of like, well, it's not even about her; it's just about them one up each other. And hey, that movie would be cool.
Yeah.
But this ain't that movie.
No.
It doesn't have the balls to be that movie. And even when it could, here's a spot where she goes like, oh, I can't believe you guys have been lying to me. For them to turn around and go like, oh yeah, I forgot. You still here? we trying to win. Like, hey, you know what? Let's go bet on something else.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is just back to like the Katherine Heigl, Ashton Kutcher movie, Killers.
Yeah, really.
I mean,
is.
back when that came out in Night and Day, although Night and Day was still more enjoyable than this was. Actually, quite a bit more enjoyable.
Quite a bit more enjoyable, yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you guys. It's like I don't hate it, but it is some old bullshit.
Wow.
Okay.
We haven't all come down on some old bullshit rating together in a long time, I think.
Man,
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Usually one of us, often me, he's the holdout.
wow, this movie actually made us kind of gay. Bullshit together.
A big some old bullshit circle jerk.
sex with both of those guys just to test out stuff and see who comes back a winner.
Why is she listening to that old man? I have no idea.